Hesione's voice trembles as she calls upon the gods, the salty wind whipping her hair as she stands chained to a rock in the Hellespont's cold embrace. The sea creature lurking in the deep stirs unseen beneath the waves, while Troy's citizens watch from a distance, powerless and afraid. At that very moment, just beyond the city's gates, Hercules arrives with his companions, Telamon and Oikles, returning from lands where he has pried the famed girdle from Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons. They are greeted by a royal court in disarray. The great city of Troy, once prosperous and proud, now seems shadowed by despair. Its ruler, King Laomedon, shifts nervously on his throne. He eyes these newcomers, heroes of renown, weary but strong, each man bearing the marks of endless journeys. Laomedon knows their appetites will be large and his storerooms are thin, yet he can hardly turn away Hercules, a hero famed for feats that defy mortal limits, cleansing the Augean stables, wrestling the Nemean lion, slaying the Hydra, trapping the boar of Mount Erymanthus, subduing the Cretan bull. If even half the tales ring true, then this man's strength outstrips that of entire armies. Still, Laomedon's mind is not on hospitality, nor on the glories of Heracles' past labors. He cares only about his empty granaries and his city's plight. Apollo's plague arrows have struck home, weakening Troy from within, while Poseidon's monstrous creature blockades the Hellespont, strangling trade and starving the kingdom of its lifeblood. Now, as if fate mocks him, his beloved daughter Hesione stands bound and helpless. The priests have pronounced that only her sacrifice can appease the enraged gods. If Laomedon dares spare her, the citizens might tear their king apart in fury. And so Hesione waits, terrified, as the waves creep higher. Heracles surveys the chamber. He notes the anxious glances, the hollow cheeks. Troy's legendary wealth and contentment are nowhere to be found. "Why this gloom?" he asks, his voice booming through the hall. "I hear tales that Troy is the richest kingdom in the world, yet I see long faces and feel a heaviness in the air." Laomedon scowls. He mutters something about the whims of gods, how mortals are but pawns in their cruel games. He hints at injustices done to Troy, at demands that cannot be met, and the dreadful necessity that now compels him to offer up his daughter to the sea dragon. Heracles tilts his head. "It seems to me," he says, "that if a beast in the straits is your trouble, all you need is someone willing to swim out and deal with it. Your daughter, Hesione, did you say, need not die. Monsters can be slain. The plague will pass in its own time. I see no inescapable doom here." Laomedon feigns innocence and claims poverty, pleading that Troy has fallen on hard times. Heracles brushes this aside. "I want nothing extravagant. Grant me the famed horses once gifted to your grandfather Tros by Zeus. Yes, the ones swift enough to gallop over water, if I rid the Hellespont of that creature and save your daughter." Laomedon hesitates. Those horses are renowned beyond measure. But what choice does he have? A slight nod, a dismissive wave of the hand, and he agrees. "Yes, yes. If you free the channel and bring my child safe back to me, the horses are yours, bridles and all." Without delay, Heracles leaves the hall. He stands on the shore, eyes fixed on the rock where Hesione awaits her doom. The wind stings his face as he strips down, flexing his mighty limbs. Telamon and Oikles watch as he plunges headlong into the surf. The creature lurks below, a mass of scales and jaws that even hardened warriors shrink from. But Heracles swims straight for it, a blade clenched between his teeth. Hesione, shivering, sees the hero approach. She can scarcely believe her eyes. A solitary man dares challenge what the gods themselves have unleashed. The waters roil as the beast surges forth, maw gaping wide. Heracles does not veer aside. He swims directly into that cavernous mouth. On the shore, silence falls. The Trojans and Heracles' companions stare, breath caught in their throats. Moments ago, he was there, a man of sinew and spirit. Now, the monster swallows him whole with a triumphant roar, diving deeper into the dark currents. Hesione gasps, tears streaking her face, convinced that the one who dared to save her has perished. But inside that foul belly, Heracles sets to work. His blade hacks and cleaves, carving flesh and scale. Long, agonizing moments pass, and then the sea itself erupts with gore. Chunks of the beast's innards float to the surface. Suddenly, Heracles emerges from the bloody froth, gasping for air, limbs smeared with the monster's lifeblood. A thunderous cheer rises from both Greeks and Trojans. Hesione sags with relief, tears now of joy streaming down her cheeks. Soon enough, the chains are broken, and Hesione, trembling and half-drowned, leans against Telamon's broad shoulder. He drapes his cloak over her, their eyes meeting for a brief instant. She senses kindness there, a gentleness unusual in a warrior's gaze. Heracles strides out of the surf and dries himself, rubbing salt and gore from his skin. He returns to Laomedon's hall to claim his promised reward. The king, however, greets him with evasions and sly murmurs, just as he once cheated Apollo and Poseidon. He complains that the straits are clogged with blood and bone, that the work is not done to his satisfaction. "We agreed you would free the Hellespont, not litter it with refuse," he objects, eyeing Heracles with the contempt of a miser. "No, I can't give you those horses now. It would not be right. Hesione was never in true danger, you understand. We would have managed." Heracles' rage boils. He grips his club, ready to crush this deceitful king like an insect. Yet Telamon steps close, murmuring of time and necessity. Heracles has tasks awaiting him in distant lands. Delay here could unravel countless labors and strip him of all he has worked for. Reluctantly, Heracles lets the moment pass, though his gaze promises vengeance. He leaves, spitting curses over his shoulder. Laomedon smirks from atop his high walls as the Greek ship hoists sail, remarking on the lack of courtesy and refinement in these traveling heroes. Hesione, standing nearby, thinks of Heracles' valor and Telamon's quiet kindness. She knows who truly saved her. She watches the ship's silhouette vanish on the horizon, and a quiet longing stirs in her heart, a feeling she does not express, but that lingers well after the hero is gone. Remember to share this and stay for what comes next. Also, make sure to watch another video.